But Dad, isn't it time for illegal ham in the face? But bro, where's the banjo?
Some Cleveland sports shows try to give you hot takes, but only one can give you a big old piece of hot ham. Welcome to Illegal Ham to the Face. Talking all Cleveland sports. And don't forget our Fat Boy Tuesday, where we also ham it up with some fun food topics. Without further ado, let's serve up some ham. Here are the Ham Boys. Fatty, Big Bri, and my cousin Vinny.
Here, I mean, see, Vinny, you are messing up too. Look at it. We're both messing up on this side. What is going on, everybody? I didn't think I'd be here today, but I am back, and I'm back with the cohorts. Welcome to Illegal Ham to the Face. Let me bring in my cousin Vinny first.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
And bring in Big Bri.
What's up, fellas?
What's going on, gentlemen? First shout out of the day I have to give is to you guys. Vinny is in the Casa studio at his house, and Bri actually took care of the show this week for me so that I could recover. Also, I got to give a huge shout out to my doctor who is Dr. Johnson. I have Dr. Johnson.
Nice.
But, my doctor and everybody at Southwest General. Everything went great. I'm back, a little sore, a little tired, but we're good to go. So it's good to be back. Good to see you guys again. And, you know, Vinny, next week we'll get you back in Fat Boy Studios, okay?
Hey, can't wait.
All right. No Vinny fails tonight, Justin said already. We already started out with fail. So, yeah, it was a fatty fail on that one. I'll take the blame for that one. Gentlemen, our show is brought to you, and everybody that's watching is brought to you by Lake Erie APA. We can't thank Harold Keel and Lake Erie APA for everything they've done. We have already crowned a 9-ball champion heading to Vegas here in Cleveland in 2 weeks. Hopefully, it'll be our names being called, and we will be going to Vegas for 8-ball. So we'll see how that goes. But so far, we got to thank Harold Keel and everybody at Lake Erie APA. They've been amazing to us. And if you would like to get scheduled with a team, or if you're just one person, you're looking for a team, get a hold of us and let's go have some fun with us. All right, boys, how are you guys doing? How's everybody doing this week? I feel I haven't talked to anybody in like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Doing great. Yeah, living the dream.
I've been doing good.
All right, it feels weird because I feel like, after being down and out for like a few days, I feel like I've been off for like a month. So like I texted Brian, I'm like, I'm not even watching sports right now, dude. I need you to help me out here. I need you to do the sheet for this week. The Vinny goes, why can't I do the sheet? I'm like, do you know what's going on in sports right now? And he goes, no. And I'm like, that's why. But I do have one, before we get in our shout outs, we had a cookie discrepancy here in my household last night. Okay. And I need your guys' opinion because you guys are both married. Vinny, you're coming up on a year. Brian, You've been married for a few years, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I've been married for a few years. And this is the first time this has kind of happened to us in our marriage. And I probably did not respond the way I should respond because I responded as a complete fat ass. But there's a reason why over cookies. But there's a reason why. Okay. So let me set the mood for you. We were watching Yellowstone. Okay. I had a cup of milk about yay big.
Mm-hmm.
I went, got my Keebler Elf rainbow cookies with the M&Ms.
Gotcha.
All right.
Right. Yeah. Yours? Are we sure they're yours? You bought them separately for yourself?
They were ours. She helped me eat some last night.
Ours. Right. Okay, there it is.
Okay.
So here's what happened is we sat down, we opened up the package, we started eating. All right. And she's like, I didn't want cookies. And she's like, I don't even know why you brought these out. I'm like, well, you're eating them now. It's fine. What I saw happen next, and I need your guys' clarification on this. I saw a female hand go into the cookie, pull out a cookie, look at it, and then put the cookie back in.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, in my rule, it's possession. It's hers. She touched it. It's hers.
Okay.
Her side of the story is she picked out the cookie. There was no M&M on this cookie. It was smaller than all the other ones. There was no M&M on that thing. It was just plain Jane chocolate cookie, and she mixed it back in with the M&M ones. So obviously, I gave her the complete look of, what the hell are you doing? Why don't you just eat the cookie? Because you're going to upset me because I'm going to have to eat the cookie later, which I did eventually eat the cookie later. I'm not going to lie. I'm fat. I ate the cookie later.
Sure. Right.
I'm not going to leave one cookie in there without an
Still
M&M.
cookie.
So I get pissed off at it when I open up the package the next day and realize it still doesn't have an M&M on it. But the big thing is possession.
Mm-hmm.
She had it in her hand. That should have been her cookie, right?
I think it comes down to male mentality versus a female mentality. So a female mentality, they're kind of used to sharing, I think, like that.
Okay.
And at least, that's kind of like what happens in my house. I live with 3 women.
No.
So,
I get the sharing, but she had it. She looked at it.
Yeah.
Placed it back in the cookie pile.
Right. Yeah. Somebody else will go ahead and take care of that because it's not what I wanted, kind of thing. I
just
expected something different. I didn't get it. I'm going to put it back.
Stop laughing. She was laughing so hard. She could not stop laughing. And I'm like, this is not a laughing matter. Like, this is the serious. I've been with her in a very long. I'm like, you did something wrong. That was your cookie. You pulled out that cookie. I don't want that cookie. Now she goes, well, maybe we should save it for Keebler, and then we might get another package of cookies. So I'm like, that's not going to happen. They're going to look like that and be like, no. It would just, I wanted your guys' Brian, what's your opinion on it?
Yeah.
I think there's 2 main aspects to this argument. I think the first one is the quantity. Now, if there's just a couple of cookies, 2, 3, 4, 5, and she pulls out one, luck of the draw, doesn't like it, puts it back. No, I'm not having that.
There was 7 cookies left.
Yeah, but there was a whole box. We went through a whole box of cookies, so it's not like there was. If you each had like one cookie and they were big cookies, and she said, "Well, mine doesn't have as many M&Ms," switch with me, then I'd be on your side, 100%. And then the second argument is, well, it's your wife, and you have to pick and choose these battles. I don't know if that's a battle that I would choose to fight.
Oh, I'm not. I just had to bring it up there because she goes, you're going to talk about this tonight, aren't you? I'm like, hell yes, I'm talking about this.
If there were one cookie that she had and one cookie that I had, and she wanted mine and I had to settle for hers, then I might fight that battle. But if there's a bunch of them, and you never know, I've started these arguments before in a playful manner, and it turns dark pretty quickly, and it gets away from you. So you are walking a fine line with that one.
Like, part of me wanted to lash out and just grab the whole box of cookies and smash them up against the wall.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't be making a bunch of cookie casualties.
I did not. But then I'm sitting there, and there's only 2 cookies left. One of them is that cookie, and then another cookie. She goes, you're going to eat it, aren't you? I'm like, of course I'm going to eat it. There's 2 cookies left. I'm not going to leave a cookie in the package like a monster.
Right. You eat the cookie with the M&M first. That way you get both cookies because she's not going to touch it, or she's going to choose that she has to eat it.
You know what's really bad is she actually took a picture because I shoved the whole cookie in my mouth all at once just to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, why didn't you let me take a picture of you biting into that cookie? I'm like, because I don't want the evidence around. So there's...
See,
my wife used to take, if there were 2, like one good cookie, one bad cookie, she used to take the good one and she'd lick it and put it back. So it's like kind of staking her claim that that's mine. You can have this crappy one. And then she realized that doesn't really faze me at all. So I just kept eating it. So yeah, that went out the window a long time ago. You can lick it, go ahead. I'm still taking the better one.
Yeah, that doesn't work with me either. I mean, we found that out with Labuglio with the fingers in the beer. Oh, here's your beer. I'm still drinking it. I don't.
Yep, still drink it. I got a long story for that. We'll save that for another day, though.
That might be a cheap ham party on that one. That
Okay.
that might be one for the Kentucky boys. See how they like that stuff.
With my, remember I had that waterproof phone.
Uh-huh.
I used to put it in people's beers and be like, "Hey man, I don't have my phone. Can you give it a call?" I say, "Sure." And then they give it a call, and then it starts ringing in their beer. Ew, that's gross. I don't want this. I'm like, all right, I'll drink it. Yep, I get my beer and your beer. Cool.
All right, gentlemen, let's get into our show. Let's get into some shout outs. Vinny, you want to go first on shout outs tonight, bud?
I'm kind of wondering actually if my brother and sister might be watching tonight. They normally, I guess, kind of do, but they went on out to New Hampshire and Maine to see my father for his birthday, which was on the 3rd.
Okay.
So happy birthday, Dad, and which I called him already way before this. But yeah, happy birthday, and hope everyone's listening and having a good time. They're out with hype man Paulie.
Oh boy, because Paulie asked me to come on the show tonight. I had to break the news to him that we had like shows planned like 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah.
So I was like, Paulie, we can't do it. I was like, plus Daddy's on a little bit of painkillers right now, so it's probably not a good thing to have hype man Paulie and Fatty all fired up. Let's can't have those two together.
We'll have a day. We might try and schedule something.
Oh yeah, well, we'll definitely will. But I told Vinny today, I was like, I did all the banners, but I need you to double check because when I did the banners, there might have been some drug influence. So just a little heads up. So Brian,
everything looked good, by the way.
See, at least I can spell when I'm there.
Oh, I didn't check spelling.
Oh, well, shit.
I'll go back through.
Here we go. All right, Brian, what about you? You got any shout outs this week?
I didn't originally, but I just started thinking back to what I was doing this weekend. And let me first shout out the Cleveland APL. We went up there on Saturday and made a small donation to them. I know City Dogs is close to our hearts as well. If you're going to any animal shelter, to make a difference, to help them out any way you can, to adopt an animal, maybe you're looking to pull the trigger on that. Let this be a reminder to you. Search for your local shelters, and if you're looking for a lovable dog, a lovable cat, now's the perfect time to do it. So that can be my first shout out. My second shout out, we had some time to kill after that. Between that and dinner, we went up in your neck of the woods. We went to Dick's Sporting Goods Outlet, which is off of 252, maybe in North Olmsted.
It's like the Brook Park extension.
Yeah, it's right across the street from Harry Buffalo.
Yep.
There you go. I mean, it's a huge place, and you get good quality stuff from Dick's Sporting Goods for like half the price. So if you're a thrifter or you're a bargain buyer, check that out. Nobody wants to pay $70 for a golf shirt or $35 for a t-shirt or something like that. So you can get some pretty good stuff at a pretty good price. So I didn't know they existed. I kind of stumbled upon it. I think I was trying to kill some time before I went to your house one day, and I found that. So if you're in that neck of the woods, check it out. They might have something for you.
All right. I have Jose Cato has chimed in and said, she's your wife, Jerry. Eat the cookie. And,
I like it.
Justin said, woman logic, cookie can go back into the carton. Possession only counts if she catches you doing something that's prove of. Well, yeah, that's true too.
Definitely agree.
That's definitely agreed. Brian, do you have any more shout outs?
That's all I got.
All right. Well, my shout outs, like I said, Dr. Johnson, I've been needing this nose surgery for a very long time now. And finally, to get it done, I did have to stay overnight at the hospital, which was not fun. Just the fact of the monitor they had me hooked up to that I wanted to throw out the 5th story window. But that would be saved for another time. Also got to shout out my wife, kids, Grammy. Grammy came in to help out this weekend, so I could get a little bit of sleep. I told these guys beforehand, everything's been going fine. Just a lot of colorful stuff coming out of my head right now. Let's just put it that way. But I feel good. Just a couple of headaches here and there, and just some sinus problems. But other than that, I mean, it's the first time in probably, God, Bryce, 6 years, 7 years, something like that I've been able to do one of these.
Sweet.
So now I do have to ask. We've been all taking bets here. Has my voice changed at all due to the nose surgery?
I can't tell that much of a difference on this. Maybe in person it sounds different, but I was joking with Jose this weekend about, I wonder if he'll come back and he'll start sounding like Barry White. And I'm like, holy cow, I didn't know that was your voice.
Yeah.
Hey,
to this point, it's pretty similar, though.
Okay, come on here. Welcome to Illegal Ham to the Face.
There you go. That's what I was waiting for.
No, I'm glad I got it done, and it just does sounding fatter count. It actually does count because it's been a rough weekend. Also got to shout out, now that you bring up fatter count, got to shout out Arby's. I did have the burger this weekend. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad, Bri. I'm with you. It's a good
Not
quality
bad.
burger.
Yeah.
I put on the level of Wendy's. Pretty good burger. And
Yep.
my kids have found the Wendy's Frosty O's.
Oh yeah.
Giant
Frosty cones.
No.
Frosty O's.
Frosty O's.
What are Frosty-O's?
So they are like the Count Chocula, but they have a couple of them with like little vanilla and little marshmallows in them. So, and I'm not gonna lie, I had to try it because I'm fat and pretty damn good. So Wendy's does have a breakfast cereal that is really good. So just letting you people know, Frosty O's.
I was that close from picking up a box.
Well, we were walking through Giant Eagle after
Yep.
their swim school, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, "What are you guys doing?" And like, "Dad, can we get some Frosty O's?" I'm like, "No, all right, put it in the cart. Don't tell Mom though. Put it in the cart." And they put it in the cart, and I'm like, "What do you guys want for breakfast the next morning?" And they said that. I'm like, "All right, I'll sit down and have a bowl with you." So
My head is spinning. Wendy's makes a cereal that tastes like Frosties.
yes,
Wow.
Yep.
All right. I mean, that's going to take a while to compute in my head, but
right.
that's wild. I thought I heard they have strawberry Frosties. Somebody told me they have strawberry Frosties now today.
Really?
Is that right? I'm
They have
Never heard of it.
unless it was a prank.
Let's see.
All right,
I don't
so
know.
running ball, man, chocolate or vanilla Frosty? Question mark. For me, it all depends on what food I get. I'm sorry. Like most of the time, I prefer chocolate with my burger, but if I do get a chicken sandwich, I'll get a vanilla Frosty. I'm fat like that. What about you guys?
Neither, to be honest.
Oh boy,
I'm not a
finally
Frosty guy. I
adds-
don't know why. I mean, I'll eat it. It's not like I hate Frosties or anything, but rarely do I get them.
Wendy's adds 47 minutes ago. Yahoo News. Wendy's finally adds a strawberry Frosty to their menu, replacing the vanilla for a limited
right.
time.
Yep.
oh boy.
Heard it here
Wow.
first.
All right, well, it looks like we're going to go. I mean, it's a lot better than the other breaking news that happened this week for our Cleveland teams. So can't wait for that. But we're not talking about that tonight because Brian did schedule and he doesn't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
So let's get
What
into
others?
our trivia. Now, last week we did do a trivia for our $25 gift card to Mr. Beats. All right. Now I'm throwing out another giveaway tonight that most people don't know about. So this is new to you guys too. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are very close to 2,000 followers on Twitter. We are very close to 500 followers on Facebook. And I want to hit that 100 subscriber mark on YouTube. So hopefully we can get our channel name taken care of. Illegal Ham to the Face channel name. Now, for all this to happen, I need everybody watching and listening to tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody to subscribe to every platform that we're on, because I'm going to give a choice out. Okay. Now, we are Browns fans. All right. I'm not giving out that much of my Brown stuff. I'm going to keep some of that back. But I have with me, and this is your choice, because once we hit those marks, we're going to do a raffle on who gets this if they want to. I have an autographed Saquon Barkley jersey.
Flip it over. Flip it around.
Wow.
There
That
you go.
I will give away once we hit all these marks, okay? Now, if you do not want the Saquon Barkley jersey, not your cup of tea, I totally understand. All right? Next choice is a $100 gift card. I want to hit that $100 mark. I want to hit that 100 mark on YouTube so bad that I'm going to give out a $100 gift card to somebody. Okay?
Wow.
So, and it's just a straight gift card. It's not to a restaurant, not to anything else. It is a $100 gift card to somebody. I've been in touch with somebody that has helped us out. I will not name names. Those will stay in the back, and they have gifted us this to help out our show and try to get us moving forward. So, everybody, please like, subscribe, and follow All Legal Ham all over our social media platforms. All right? You can follow Vinny and Bri, too. I bet you they'll love it, too. Brian's not on Twitter, but you can catch him on Facebook every now and then. But please help us get to 100 on YouTube, because that way we might be able to lock in the Illegal Ham name and have an Illegal Ham to the Face YouTube channel. All right. So on that note, that's what's going down. So once we get to those, 2,000 on Twitter, 100 on YouTube, 500 on Facebook. Once we get to that, we will raffle everybody that is following us, and we will draw a name. And that name you can choose either the Saquon Barkley jersey or the $100 gift card. Your choice.
Awesome.
What do you think about that, big fella?
I love it. That's
All
great.
right.
Gives you a lot of incentive.
Awesome.
Spread the word.
Yep.
Right. And especially, I just want that name locked in. So when everybody searches on YouTube and just searches Illegal Ham, and they go, what am I going to come up with? No, it's not Hamlet. No, it's not, Hamilton Adams. No, it's Illegal Ham to the Face. All right. All right.
Or a spider pig would come up.
Probably a spider pig would come up too. All right, gentlemen, let's get into our show. Let's get into trivia. Vinny, you got the board on the other side, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get into our trivia, Brian. And our trivia is brought to you by Curb Appeal Landscaping. Get a hold of Papa V at curbappeal419.com. This week is Bry's week for trivia. Next week, we will try again for a $25 Stump Bry trivia question. So tune in next week, and we will get that going. Bry, what do you got for me, bud?
Well, I love my football trivia, but I had to go and switch it up a little bit. And I want a little baseball for you. So I am looking for your Cleveland Indians / Guardian all-time winning percentage of the franchise, and where do they rank in comparison to other teams? So I know this one's going to be tough to nail it exactly, so I kind of broke it down to different tiers and call them multiple choice, whatever you want. So all-time win percentage, where do they rank? Are they 1 to 4? Are they 5 to 8? 9 to 12? 13 to 16, 17 to 20, or are they 21 and lower?
All right, I like it. We'll catch that on the backside.
Mm-hmm.
I actually really do like that question, Bri. Where'd you find
so, I mean, it's technically, I guess you can throw the Guardian name in there too. Well, it's pretty much Cleveland Indian trivia. And Spiders and Buckeyes, whatever they were before then.
You know what the great thing is now that Vinny's not here in studio with me, I can cheat. So I'm just
don't be cheating.
That's a great question, Brian. All right, I like it.
Yep.
All right, now what's really funny is now Vinny can cheat on my cousin Vinny's word of the day, which is hitting you right about. All right, Vinny. This feels weird not seeing you over chicken scratching and everything else before the show starts.
Right.
All right. So why don't you give me your word of the day, bud?
All righty. Here it comes. Make sure the volume's all the way up and everything. I don't know where I'm going to have to put this. Let's see. Oh.
See, technical difficulties. We should have tried this before.
Sumptuous.
There we go. Did you hear it?
Socialist.
Sumptuous.
Sumptuous.
Sounds like
I think it's up here.
Sumptuous.
oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah, that was a lot louder, huh?
That definitely was socialist.
Okay. Sumptuous
Okay.
is our word of the day.
Sumptuous.
Does it mean A, quality or state of being faithful to someone? B, extremely costly, rich, or magnificent? C, blend or mix together? Or D, done without energy or enthusiasm, more so like out of a duty or a habit?
Okay.
Cool.
All right, Brian, you ready for that one?
Well done. Yep, I got it.
All right, Vinny, are you going to stick around and talk some basketball with us?
I'll stick around for a little bit. I might pop out or pop back in.
All right. All right. So, like I said, Brian came up with this show today, and he actually has a really good show for us, which I was kind of stunned when he sent it to me. I'm like, are we even going to fit this in this show? So, Brian,
I think we're going to have to save the last one maybe for next week or in 2 weeks or whenever.
We'll figure it out. But
we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
The title of our show is NBA Finals are going on, and are we watching? Now, Bri, I actually have been watching only because I was in the hospital when the first game came down.
Right.
So I actually got to watch the first game, which was a great game. That was probably one of the best games I've seen in a while, and especially for Boston to come back the way they did and just owned that fourth quarter. Well, actually, owned the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Right.
So it was really good to see. Other than that, game two kind of lost its luster because Draymond was acting like a little punk, like he always does, and just doing one of these the entire time. So, but I mean,
Right.
I have been watching, I have been paying attention. But like you asked me, are you invested in it? And to be honest, I'm not really invested because I believe that there's not much parity in the NBA right now because you can actually look and see what teams are good, and what 4 teams are going to go to the semifinals and the finals, unless there's some major hiccup that happens. Milwaukee going out was kind of like weird, but then you look at the 2 teams that were left, Miami and Boston. You knew that was going to happen. Golden State got their stride. You knew that was going to happen because LeBron was out. So it's kind of been like, I miss the old school days of us growing up and not knowing, watching the game 7s that come down, watching the Reggie Miller talk crap to everybody, watching, I'll be the 90s kid to say it. I mean, I think the 90s basketball was better than what it is today. I'm not saying that the athletes aren't great and it's amazing to watch. It's just, I like that style of basketball now because, when you were growing up, you got touched on the wrist. Are you bleeding? No, it's not a foul. Stop crying. Let's move down the court. Like, I understand if you get completely karate chopped and hacked, but these guys are barely getting touched now, and it's like you stole their unborn child, took it home, and raised it yourself. So, I mean, have you been watching the NBA Finals, Brian?
I wouldn't say I've been watching like every game, but I'll turn it on, and I'm interested in it. Because to me, the Warriors are still a villain to me. I still hate them. I still can't stand them. That's what you need when you're watching a championship series is you either need a team to root for that you like the guys, your hometown team, obviously, or just guys that have good stories like Giannis sticking with Milwaukee when everyone thought he was leaving. So you either need a team to root for or you need a team to root against. And obviously, as Cavs fans, we can relate to hating Draymond and Steph and Clay and all of them, just like we can relate to rooting against the Heat when LeBron was there. So I'm interested. I still don't fully believe that Boston really has a chance, even though they won game one. I feel like they really probably shouldn't have. I don't know if Golden State just got lazy or what it was, but I don't know. I get sick of the bouquet throwing at Golden State. They're a good team, don't get me wrong. But I don't need to watch it. I don't need to hear about it all the time. I still don't. I think they're a good team, but I don't think they're a great team anymore. With KD, they were a great team, obviously, because he joined a good team and made them great. But the one thing that the NBA has going for them right now is these are two homegrown teams. These are not teams that have been concocted through free agency. These are not teams that one superstar demanded a trade to another team and got his way. These are teams that most of the stars on these teams were drafted by these teams. And they obviously added guys like Wiggins and Horford through free agency, but they're not the guys that are driving the team. So, hopefully maybe the NBA has come through that drought where every year it was just another super team. These guys going here and forming a super team. And so I think hopefully that engages the casual NBA fan like the last few years have not done.
Yeah, and what you were saying about, these teams, KD went to Golden State for a couple years. You can't forget that. I mean, that was above the super team of all super teams. But you also got to factor in that Golden State hasn't been at full strength since the Cavs have beat him. Because either Steph has been injured, Clay's been out for almost 2 years, it feels like. You have Draymond in and out because he's been injured. So that team has never really been together the past couple years, but now everybody's healthy. They really can't, everybody's like, well, you're really sleeping on Golden State. Well, no, because they still have the talent there. It's not like they don't have the talent. It's just they're injured. They're sitting on the bench. And then they get a lottery pick, just because everybody's sitting on the bench. Like, oh, great, they get a lottery pick now. That's awesome. Glad that works out for them. But, it just, when I see these finals, I see teams that are similar, but I see two totally different styles. Because I see the way Boston plays, which is up-tempo, in your face, straight defense, if they can.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Golden State that likes to run a little bit, which Boston does too, but Golden State's always looking for that open shot. And if they get that open shot, they're going to take it. And I think what Boston did game one to him of trying to make Steph and Clay, take over the game, which Steph did early. Afterwards, he couldn't hit anything. And neither could Clay. And at that point in time, they got nobody else to score. And then Boston just kind of took over. But also, Boston got helped out by Al Horford, another point guard that made 6 threes. They made an abundance of threes. But the way they're playing their game of drive and kick out, and especially with Tatum and Brown, especially Tatum, that's a pretty good team they got going there. And I say team because you have up here next, is Tatum or Steph your top 5 players, or are they superstars? Okay. For me, Tatum is not a superstar. Tatum is a great player. He'll never be a superstar to me because I don't think so, because I don't think he has the ability to take over a complete game. He can take over a quarter. He can take over a half. But can he get pissed off enough to actually take over a game? Now, granted, he is a great facilitator. You know how many points he scored in the first game? 8. But he passed the ball everywhere else. He's a great facilitator. I just don't think he's at that level with everybody else. Now, Steph, I kind of do, because Steph changed the whole game of the NBA with his 3-point shot and everything else. So, I mean, how do you feel about those two?
As far as Tatum, I would agree with you in the fact that I don't think he's a top 5 player right now. Because some people have been overreacting, I think, in my opinion, over the last couple weeks to a month about his abilities, and he's still young. So where I disagree with you, I think he has that potential. He's just not quite there. I mean, but there were one game against the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals where he scored like 40-some points, 46 or something like that, and I think he just took over that game. But right now, I think he's not in my top 5. He's probably borderline top 10, but he's ascending. And so, I think the future's bright for him. And you remember when he was drafted, everyone was questioning Boston because they had the number 1 pick. And Markelle Fultz was supposed to be the superstar coming out, and they traded back to like number 3 and let the Sixers take Fultz. And everyone's like, what are you doing? Why would you trade back? Well, they really like Tatum. And right now it seems like, just a huge deal that Fultz was this giant bust and Tatum is a borderline top 10 guy. So I think they made the right move there, and he's just going to take some time. I think he's still only like 23, 24 years old, so I think he has that potential.
He's right now in his super prime of 24 to 28 range. He's got like a 4-year range right now, which I consider the super prime in the NBA, where you've actually put on the muscle and you're not a child anymore. And starting to learn the NBA a little bit better. You're right there. And, these next 4 years will actually probably see what he actually is.
Yeah. And I mean, to be honest, I don't think Steph is a top 5 player. Maybe at one point he was, but I don't know if we're going to get, I don't want to jump the gun here, but we're going to talk about, because I think a lot of both these teams, maybe not as a team, but as certain players, they just get hyped up so much by the media. And I think nobody more than Steph Curry has been hyped up by the media because he's a great shooter. Obviously, like you said, he's changed the game, and he has, and his style of play has. But you just look at his numbers. I mean, just going by the numbers, take all the glitz and the glamour out of it. I remember the first time I saw the Warriors, Steph Curry missed more than half his threes, and I'm like, man, I sure thought he was a much better shooter than this because the way they just hype him up on SportsCenter nonstop. And he was great in the first quarter, like you said, but he's Mr. First quarter. He'll hit these threes. When in crunch time in 2016, what we saw, Game 7, where was he? He was nowhere to be found. He didn't come through. And the 2 seasons when he didn't have Klay Thompson, he didn't make the playoffs. The Warriors were one of the worst teams in the league without Klay Thompson. So how are you going to tell me that this guy is a top 5 player, maybe one of the best of all time, and when he doesn't have his quote-unquote Robin, he can't even make the playoffs, and they drafted number 2 one year. They drafted like 5 last year. So to me, he's a great shooter and a great ball handler. His defense is pretty average. If he takes it into the post, he doesn't have that strength to get it up against some other guys. He can make some tremendous shots, but he's a great shooter. Yes, he's not. Did you know he's not even a top 10? Here's what I look at. When I look at like running backs in the NFL and I look at 3-point shooters in the NBA, I look at what's your percentage. How many yards per carry are you getting? I don't care that you take more carries than other guys. When you touch the ball, how many yards do you get when you touch the ball? When you take a 3-point shot, how many times are you making that 3-point shot compared to other people? Because he just putting up a ton of volume doesn't impress me. He's not even a top 10 guy in 3-point shooting. Believe it or not, I was doing the work and I thought, okay, he's number 3. No, number 3 is his brother, Seth Curry. Seth Curry has a better 3-point shooting percentage than Steph does.
Yeah,
Steph's number 12.
But that's also volume too, though, because you also got to factor in that Seth instead of Steph, Seth is only putting up maybe 6-7 shots a game compared to his brother who's putting up 30 shots a game.
So and maybe you and I differ. I mean, maybe.
Well, I can't do that on that because Kyle Korver, being the assassin he is, that's all he did was shoot 3-pointers. So
guess what? He's in the top 10 all time of 3-point shooting percentage. And you know who number 1 is?
Oh my God, I hate to say it. What? All right, give it to me.
Steph Curry's coach.
Steve Kerr. That's all
Steve
he was
Kerr,
asking.
number 1 all time. You know, number 2 is the North Carolina head coach, Hubert Davis. So, I mean, these guys, if they just took as many three-pointers as Steph, you know, I understand, like you said, you take more shots, your percentage is more likely to go down, and the game is different now. But he's a great shooter, but I just don't buy that, you know, because they're talking about him. What brought this to my mind? They're talking about him on one of these ESPN shows as being on the basketball Mount Rushmore as one of the 4 best players of all time, and just like he's not a complete player. He's a great shooter, one of the best shooters all time. I still wouldn't put him as the best shooter of all time, but one of the best shooters of all time. And I think the media just hypes him up so much. He's never did anything without Clay. I mean, what would you think if Michael Jordan didn't even reach the playoffs without Scottie Pippen? Will we be calling him the greatest player of all time? Probably not. I mean, you can't even, and I understand Steph dealt with injuries during those years, but I mean, one year he basically just gave up. He's like, well, we don't have Clay. We're probably not going to win the title, so I'm just going to sit out a bunch of games because I have a finger injury or whatever tiny little injury it was.
Well,
give me a break.
Didn't Michael Jordan actually make it the 1 year without Scottie Pippen because he sat out because of his contract?
Probably. I mean, you could be right.
All right, so let's get into this now. All right, so you're rooting for the Celtics. Do you think?
Yeah, as hard as it is to say I'm rooting for a Boston team, I guess I probably am.
I hate that feeling, but I hate Golden State so much more. And here's the reason why. Let's get into your most overrated players in this series, Bri, which you already came up with one. You said Steph Curry's overrated, right?
He's you know, it's him. I think the other guys, you know, I think some people are getting a little too high on Tatum right now, but like I said, I think he has potential to get where they're a step or two ahead of where he's at. So Tatum, I think these guys are great players. I'm not trying to bring them down or anything like that, but I just think, you know, the media doing what they do, they're trying to hype it up. They're trying to get interest behind these teams, but yeah, I'm just not buying that these are 2 top 5 guys like everyone's trying to sell you.
No, I get it. And, you know, like mine for Golden State, Draymond Green. I think he's a punk. Like, I don't, you know, when he came out, and him only being, 6'7", 6'8", whatever the heck he is, and playing center and just playing aggressive, playing fast, playing, as everybody else says, loose, playing loose, way too loose. And the dumb stuff that he does, I mean, you can either almost guarantee a technical foul or a foul on him out of nowhere because of just I'm not saying he doesn't have discipline, and I'm not saying that he can't change a game because he can get down there and bloody it up like Lambeer. I trust me, I've seen that enough. But on the Boston side, they have one too, Marcus Smart. Those two, and everybody's sitting there like, well, Marcus is this for the team, and this. It doesn't matter what Marcus Smart is for the team. They have their core. Yes, he's a part of their little bit of core, but he's doing what he's supposed to do in that team, kind of help facilitate. He's not supposed to take a whole bunch of shots. He's supposed to get maybe 20 points a game, if that, but he is supposed to shut down their top player on defense. That's what he's there for. Draymond Green, you can almost argue is the same person because he is there to try to get in the head of somebody, to get somebody off their feet and try to bug them out enough that they're just off for a night. And we saw it this last game where, you know, I think Boston only scored 88 points. They showed the highlights of Draymond after that. All he's doing the entire time is just jawing in somebody's face, jawing in somebody's ear, just nudging people, just pushing people, just the subtle little digs that he does. Now, granted, mental assassin he is. I can actually say that. But as an actual basketball player, like, he's good, but he's not that good. Like, why are they thinking like he is like he's the number 3 to Clay and, you know, Steph? He's not. Number 3 was Durant when Durant was there. So, I mean, those are my overrated players.
Yeah, I think people we do this all the time in sports, is where we compare two guys that are similar body types or, play a similar way. And so people want to compare Draymond to Charles Barkley. And I mean, go look at the numbers. Draymond's not even in Charles Barkley's stratosphere. Draymond's a good player, but Charles Barkley, just because Draymond has championships, and I know in this day and age we're all about the championships. Well, how many championships did he win? Go look at the numbers. Draymond and Charles Barkley are two different players. Draymond is a poor man's Charles Barkley. So, I guess it's just the day and age we live in with social media and everybody trying to overreact to everything. And well, this is better than that was 20 years ago, and it's just not always the case.
All right, Bri, you are completely correct. We got to move the other one over.
That's cool. Yep. Yeah, that's fine.
We will. Vinny is off the screen right now, so I'm in charge of the controls now, which is actually quite fun. All right, we are going to get into our Browns, 2 offensive and 2 defensive players that need to step up for a great year for the Browns. And we're taking out like quarterback out of this.
Right.
We're taking out, like Myles Garrett always has to step up. We're talking about some other people that really need to take a next step to help the Browns out this year and get to the next level. Brian, would you like to go first on this one? Oh,
you go. I got a couple, so if you take one of mine, then I'll just pivot to a different answer.
All right. So offensive wise, I gotta see Kareem Hunt healthy. I think he is a difference changer. Now, they did sign Dearness Johnson, and I threw up a Twitter poll real quick when I found out, when I was coherent. They signed him. I said, now that the room is full, I mean, do you expect this room to change drastically? Now, the one thing that scares me is Kareem Hunt is older. He's got 1 year left on his contract, and they have drafted a lot of rookies behind these guys. So, Demetric Felton, the kid from Cincinnati, who I'm forgetting his name.
Ford? Is it Ford? Yeah. Jerome Ford?
Yes. So,
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
That's a good one. I like it. High five. But, I think Kareem Hunt last year being off this team kind of changed this team. Because, yes, Dearness did a great job filling in, but I think Kareem Hunt was the one punch they needed to kind of help out, and it wasn't there. Number 2, he just got a shit ton of money. David Njoku. He has definitely got to step up, and he's got to prove that he's worth that money, because if he comes out and falls flat on his face like Austin Hooper, Browns fans are probably going to go insane, and they're probably going to be screaming and yelling. Granted, we always say it's not our money, it's their money, but this kid it's time for him to now show up and show out, because if you're not, that's the way the cycle works. Other side, Greedy Williams has got to step up. All right. Now, granted, he played all last year, but we need a healthy Greedy to get a good assessment of what he actually did, because we do have a lot of young corners in our defensive back room. And last but not least, even though he did step up when he was playing, we need JOK to stay healthy. And because when he is healthy and on the field, he is a difference maker in that linebacker room. He truly is. So, Brian, what about you?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you went first, because you mentioned a couple guys that I was thinking of. JOK for sure. I know it's putting a lot of pressure on a second-round draft pick in his second year, but we've seen the flashes from him. Our linebacker core is kind of weak, and he has a lot of physical abilities, so we just need him to make that next step. And also with Njoku, he just got a huge payday, and he's making, like we talked about last week, top 5 money. So if he's making top 5 money, I'm going to expect George Kittle. I'm going to expect Darren Waller. I know that sounds like crazy talk, but to me, it's not. And you give him that money, he has to step up. He has to put up those numbers that those guys are doing. And I don't expect him to block like Kittle, but but I'm hoping for more in the passing game, more consistency. But so I'll pivot to my first guy is Donovan Peoples-Jones. And I know it's a lot to ask of a 6th-round pick in his 3rd year and his 2nd quarterback, but the Browns haven't made any moves to this point. Who knows if we get OBJ? There's been rumors over the last week that the Browns are talking to him or he has interest in coming back, which
He won't be back until almost the end of the season, right?
Right. And to me, I'd be very surprised if he goes anywhere but the LA Rams because he is Los Angeles. His personality is Los Angeles, so I'm sure he wants to be there. But DPJ, the Browns haven't made any other moves. They've put the pressure on him, and he, like Njoku, like we talk about with him, he's a tremendous talent. He has tremendous abilities. And he was the number 1 wide receiver coming out of high school. He kind of had an okay career in college, but he obviously slid in the draft for a reason. And the Browns are giving him a great opportunity. Most 6th-round picks do not get this opportunity. If Deshaun Watson ended up playing half a season or a few games a season or something, to get the opportunity of being the number 2 receiver in a great offense with a pretty good quarterback. It's time. If he doesn't do it this year, they'll probably go out and sign somebody in the offseason or make a trade for somebody. So I think this is it. This is his time. And speaking of getting opportunities, my number 2 guy is Nick Harris. He's kind of the forgotten guy on our offensive line. He's stepping into big shoes filled by Treader over the last few years, and the Browns have kind of stuck by him. He was a late-round draft pick also, I think maybe in the 5th round. 4th round?
4th round.
And he was kind of an undersized guy out of Washington, and the Browns like what they've seen from him, obviously, because they've had chances to draft other centers or sign guys. And I think, didn't we get a guy from Seattle or something?
Yes, he was a 2nd-round pick, but he's also like a camp guy to bring in too. So
Right. So maybe a guy to push him.
Well, then we drafted the one kid out of the 7th-round kid.
Right. So you got a couple guys that are they're not just handing him the job.
No.
But I think their plan is to have him start the season out. And he's got in there in some kind of sporadic situations over the past where we need him to step in. Treader has been a warrior. He hasn't missed much time, but he's stepped in his guard a couple times, and he's done pretty well. And like I said, he's undersized, so he's not that athletic freak or that strong offensive lineman in the middle of the line to give you that push. But he's a guy that Bill Callahan believes in. He's a guy that the Browns believe in, and I'm hoping that he can solidify the center of that offensive line, because that offensive line could be great, and they're going to be looking to him for that leadership. The center kind of always falls into that role, so hopefully he can step it up. So those are my guys on offense. My guys on defense, like I said, I agree with you and JOK, but I'll go with John Johnson. I mean, we gave him a ton of money last year. We were expecting big things. We were very excited to have him in our secondary, and I wouldn't say he had a terrible year or anything, or even a bad year, but we just didn't seem to hear his name a whole bunch. He made a tackle here, or maybe a tip ball there, and he didn't come up with that big play as much as we were hoping for. He's been billed as that center fielder of our defense and that playmaker, that Ed Reed type in the middle of our defense, and I feel like he just didn't come through with that. So hopefully, 2nd year in the system, the Browns defense as a whole got a lot better as the year went on. So hopefully with the experience, he will get better as an individual player. And then my other guy on defense, and, I don't know. I put this down and I still don't fully believe it, but I'm going to say Myles Garrett. He's a great player. He's probably a Hall of Famer, but my expectations are maybe even higher than that. I understand he's getting double and triple teamed, but so is TJ Watt. And TJ Watt won the Defensive Player of the Year. And Aaron Donald gets double and triple teamed every single day. And most people consider him better than Myles Garrett. And neither one of those guys were drafted in the top 10 or the number 1 overall pick in the draft. So Myles Garrett has been kind of billed as the guy since like his sophomore year in college. And he's had high expectations, and he's been a Pro Bowler. Don't get me wrong. I'm looking for him to be the best defensive player in the NFL. Aaron Donald's getting older. Honestly, if TJ Watt doesn't play Baker Mayfield at the end of December in Pittsburgh, I don't know if he wins Defensive Player of the Year last year. But I'm looking for the accolades from Myles Garrett. I'm looking for him to – now we have a 17th game. I'm looking for him to get 20 sacks in a season. He's got Jadeveon Clowney on the other side, so they can't strictly pay attention to him. So I think it's very possible. I need to see it throughout a whole season. I want him to be the best, not just one of the best or a top 5 guy. He's in his prime. He's not going to be any better than he is right now. So now's the time to do it.
All right. So my brother from another mother, my brother-in-law, Chris Spann, asked, can we include special teams or a kicker? And, yes, we can. I mean, Cade York it's his job. They've already said that. They've been down at First Energy Stadium with him. He has been everywhere kicking. The only thing I can say is, Cleveland fans, I know we don't do this a lot, but do not rush to judgment on this guy right out of the gate. Let him get his footing. Let him get in there. And thanks, Toby. Still sounds the same. Thanks, bud. But let him get his footing. I mean, he's a rookie. He's coming in. He's going to have his ups and downs his rookie year. It's a learning experience for him too. So I understand that the kicker is the most important thing, especially on certain teams that want to go to the playoffs. Let's see what he can do first, and then we'll judge it from there. I mean, if he goes out and starts shanking kicks and missing 5 out of 5, then you have a right to gripe. But if he's just missing one here or one there, let's just pump the brakes a little bit. And let's see what he does, because it's going to take him a little bit to understand everything. So,
yeah, honestly, he has a lot of pressure on him. He has maybe more pressure on him than anybody else does in our rookie class. Because we saw it last year with Evan McPherson in our own state. Rookie kicker comes in, and he's a top 10, maybe top 5 guy, and he's just nails in the playoffs. So we've seen it happen with a young kicker in our state, in our division. Now that's what we expect from Cade York. Cade York was a higher draft pick than Evan McPherson was. Cade York trained with the same guy that McPherson did. So subconsciously, we think, well, he has to be at least as good as McPherson. And he set a high bar. So it's going to be tough for Cade York. Obviously, he's kicked in some big games in the SEC, but the NFL is a different animal. The First Energy Field, or whatever they call it now, is a different animal. And he's been kicking down there a lot, it sounds like, been talking to Phil Dawson a lot. And he'll kind of ease into it with the September and October games, but come November, December, that's where he's going to have to make his money.
All right. Vinny, why don't you hop in here? I see you there in the back. You able to hop in? There he is. You got to turn your microphone on. See, this is why. There it is. I can hear you now.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Yeah, there we go. We got it now. All right, gentlemen. All right. I am starting to get a little bit of a headache, so we're going to quickly
do
the trivia and the
top 3
word of the day.
Do you want to skip Fat Boy Tuesday?
No, because I actually put out the trivia on or the Fat Boy Tuesday on Twitter. Yeah.
Sure.
So I'll quickly run through what I got to, but we'll go quickly run through stuff where I can get off, and then you guys can talk about some of the breads, because I got extra breads that were brought up to me on Twitter, and we'll go through there. All right. So trivia, Bri, you asked me Guardians / Indians win percentage as a team, and you grouped it out. I'm gonna go. You have 5 through what? 5 through
1 through 4, 5 through 8, 9 through 12, 13, 16, 17, 20.
I'm gonna go 13 through 16.
They are actually number 7 all
Get
time.
out of here. All right.
Yeah, that was a surprise to me. Because the top 5 are your standard blue bloods, Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers, I think San Francisco, Cubs, and St. Louis. So,
Wow.
I mean, obviously those first 6 teams are top notch. They're the cream of the cream, and they're rivals with one another. So they're just keeping each other afloat, and the success is high. And so I couldn't believe when I was looking through. I probably took a screenshot of this maybe about probably a couple months ago, and yeah, 512 is their all-time win percentage. So 7th best team in baseball history. That's pretty good.
All right, that's actually amazing. All right, you ready for word of the day?
It's because the phone's plugged in.
Oh boy,
It hates it. Okay, I didn't have the volume up.
there it is.
Sumptuous.
There it is. Sumptuous.
I feel that's what I look like when I dress up for Memorial Day. That one of me
Yeah.
going out there in my American flag overalls with no shirt on, with a hat, sunglasses.
You feel very sumptuous.
I do. All right, give us the definitions, bud.
All right, definitions again. Is it A, quality or state of being faithful to someone? B, extremely costly, rich, or magnificent? C, blend or mix together? Or D, done without energy or enthusiasm, such as like a duty or like a habit?
All right, I'm going to go first. I'm going to go with the rich one, whatever the rich one was.
B, extremely costly, rich, or magnificent.
That's what I'm thinking too.
You gentlemen are both correct.
Sweet.
Great job.
He did an easy one because he didn't want me to think too hard because my head hurts.
Well done, Vinny. I like that.
I like that one too. All right, so let's get into you got the brand pulled up there. Let's get into Fat Boy Tuesday real quick.
Yep.
And now it's time for Fat Boy Tuesday.
I'm sorry, everybody. The headache is kicking in, and I'm trying to watch the screen, and all I get is how you guys live our new intro where it goes, fatty, 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 fatty.
Close your eyes. You don't have to look at the screen. Just close your eyes.
All right, we can do that. All right,
There you
so
go.
Fat Boy Tuesday is best restaurant breads. All right, now I put this poll out on Twitter, right? And what I put out was Texas Roadhouse, Olive Garden, Bob Evans, or other. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We have got a lot of Texas Roadhouse lovers.
Right.
We've got a lot of Red Lobster cheddar biscuits.
There you go.
All right. We got a lot of Olive Garden. And then there was a couple other. Longhorn was on there. Macaroni Grill with their bread and oil. There's a lot on there. So why don't you guys give me your favorite bread places?
Do we want to make this our top 3?
We could do that real quick. We could do it all into one.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to speed it up, why don't we just make this our top 3?
All right. So Twitter poll has actually Texas Roadhouse was winner over everything because of the cinnamon butter.
Yes.
Right.
You can't go wrong with that cinnamon butter. And
Right.
you got to have at least 14 rolls before you actually get your steak meal. So, I mean, that's just a given. Reason why I pulled Olive Garden in there because Olive Garden is just the best with breadsticks. It's not. I mean, Brian, it's not Fazoli's.
I forgot about Fazoli's.
Yeah.
They're similar. They're on the same level, I think.
Let's see here. Better Chew Cheese is Pauly. Olive Garden is fake Italian food. Yeah, I know it is Pauly. Panera Bread. I forgot about Panera Bread. Panera Bread's really good too.
Endless breadsticks. How can you go wrong?
Yeah, that's like a fat man's dream. That's when you go there for the endless salad and breadsticks, you really don't have to go anywhere. Or the bread bowls. Oh god, I forgot about bread bowls. Here we go. Now we're down another path. Down a dark path. Even some of the mom and pop shops here, like Sweet Basil's breadsticks are.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But they do the olive oil and like I like the one where you can dip it either in the marinara or the olive oil, or of course if you're really fat, the cheese. Like, nacho cheese. Are we throwing in pretzels with this too?
Like what? Give me a pretzel. Oh, you mean like an appetizer pretzel?
Yeah.
No. I was thinking. So what brought this on was we went to a Cheesecake Factory for Ashley's birthday, and she actually brought it up because they give you the complimentary bread, and she loves the honey wheat or whatever they give you. And so I was like, oh, that's a good one. I don't know if we've talked about that. So that was what brought it on. I'd say Cheesecake Factory's probably not in my top 3, but they're pretty good. Texas Roadhouse obviously is one of the best, so I put them at my number 1, and Olive Garden probably number 2, and then number 3 I might cheat a little bit and say the Loveless Cafe down in Nashville, Tennessee, because those are the best biscuits I've ever had. I know the cheddar biscuits from Red Lobster are amazing, but these are just biscuits, and I've never been a big biscuit fan. I thought, well, how good could they be? Man, there's something else. I mean, if you're down in the area, you definitely got to check it out. But and I even think you can maybe order it online. But I know a lot of people probably haven't had that, so I feel like I'm cheating a little bit. But they're all good. Carrabba's too. Have you ever been to Carrabba's?
Yes.
They got the oil and the herbs that you dip it in. That was good. Bob Evans rolls are really, really good.
Love Bob Evans rolls. Like we have a place down at my dad's where we actually buy those rolls, and they don't last that long. Let's just be honest. Here, Toby said Harry's Steakhouse. I have never eaten there yet. We're going to have to go there. Also, I want to throw one back at you guys. There's a place in Amish country. I think it's Der Dutchman, and they bring out bread and the butter. Like the homemade bread that they make. Oh my gosh.
It's right off of 71 there, south of Mansfield.
Oh, so good.
Really good.
So good. All right, let's get into our top 3. I mean, we talked bread. Everybody else has brought up bread. I mean, the top winner was Texas Roadhouse. Chris said that butter from Texas Roadhouse. Like, do you guys even spread the butter? Because I just take the roll and, like, dunk it in the cup and just...
I'm not usually there by myself. If I'm there by myself, yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
I don't know if you guys remember Damon's used to have really good rolls.
Yes, they did.
Damon's.
Yeah, I don't know if they're still around. There used to be one up by Dave and Buster's in like Westlake, but I don't even know if they're around still.
No, the last one shut down, and that was at right there on Pearl or Bagley. You know which one I'm talking about. They're in Middleburg Heights. They changed it into a Starbucks now.
Oh, that's right.
Of course, yeah. Come on, America, do better. Keep Damon's alive.
I know.
We have enough Starbucks.
All right. Well, you don't have to bring up the top 3. We'll do our top 3 breads, and I will go first. My number 3 is the cheddar biscuits from Red Lobster. I love the cheddar biscuits from Red Lobster. My number 2 is the Texas Roadhouse. All right. And Bri, you're going to love it. My number 1, Fazoli's.
There you go.
Fazoli's breadsticks. Most people don't know what Fazoli's is. It's kind of like a fast food Italian restaurant. You can go in and get your food, stuff like that. But, man, there is something about those breadsticks at about 2:30 in the morning when you're just craving something to soak up some alcohol, and those breadsticks hit it every time.
Is there one near you?
There's one in Lima.
Oh, okay. I know there's one in Mansfield and there's one in Sandusky, but those are the only 2 that I know of still.
Highly recommended by the fat guys here on this show, with the exception of Vinny. I don't think Vinny's had Fazoli's yet.
Doesn't sound familiar.
It's almost like fast food Italian food, I'd say.
Oh, yeah. It is fast food Italian food.
Mm-hmm.
You pick your pasta, you pick your sauce, they put it all together, and then you get your breadsticks. And you're out.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. Brian, what about your top three?
I already gave out my top three, so you can go to Vinny.
Vinny?
You know what? I'm going to say Nino's over in North Ridgeville. It's got some excellent bread. Been there the last couple times, and yeah, it was really good. They give you the oil and stuff with it too.
Oh, nice.
So
Sweet.
it's very good. Definitely Texas Roadhouse. Got to throw that up there. I've always enjoyed eating the cinnamon butter. And my number one, Mama Catina's.
Oh, I forgot about Mama.
There you go.
They
Yeah,
had
how could we forget about
amazing-
that?
What are we doing? We forgot about Mama Catina's.
They had amazing bread. Well, that just means we have to go back. It's been
I
almost a
know.
year.
Because Mama,
That's right.
if Lauren sees this right now, she's probably going to smack the crap out of us. I have such good bread. I
Slipped my mind.
I forgot because Hope kept slapping at me to stop eating the bread and wait for my food. I'm like, I can't help it. I forgot about it. Thank you for bringing that up, Vinny.
Absolutely.
Well done.
All right, everybody. We are here at the end of the show. We went a little long. We talked way too long on the NBA Finals, which normally Brian and I don't hit the national stuff, but we felt obligated to because
Sure. It's the only thing going on in sports really right now.
next week we will be talking Cleveland Sports Draft as part of our show next week. And Brian concocted this where you can pick players from either team here in Cleveland or coaches or GMs. How
Right.
you concoct your team, we'll see how it goes. So if you guys want to chime in on our Twitter at @HamIllegal, just start chiming in teams. Who you guys think would be the best team in Cleveland sports right now? All right.
Yep. Drafting whoever you think is like the most valuable player or coach or GM or owner. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that love Dan Gilbert for getting us a championship. So if he's one of your guys, then draft him.
All right.
I'm gonna have to call in some help on this one.
That's not a problem. Call it.
It's only 5 rounds, so only 15 guys will be drafted.
Call in Holzheimer.
There you go. Yeah. You'd be a
I can
good
do
one.
that.
Bring in the righty.
I got my brother, and I also got his buddy Justin, my buddy too. But,
Start
yeah,
chalking up
Justin.
your big board.
So-
You better start right now because I don't want to see you come in scribbling shit down on Tuesday.
Oh no, not on that day. I can.
Actually, I know what's going to happen. It's going to be Sunday, and he's going to go, "Hey, Fats." I'm like, yeah, buddy. What are we doing again? I'm like, here it is. I'll get you. It's all right.
Is Vinny going to be the guy who, come 5th round, is going to be like, has Myles Garrett been taken yet? What
I'm
about
taking a
Jose
kicker.
Ramirez?
I'm taking a kicker.
That fantasy draft guy that doesn't pay attention.
That's
Taking
me.
Taking a punter first round. No, we're doing defense. No.
I was the first guy out in the last draft for football,
Oh.
so
I know.
I didn't want to bring it up, Vinny. Next year,
I
only
know,
one
I
way to
feel it.
go. One direction
I
it'll
feel
go.
We do have to get into that soon because fantasy football will be starting soon. Okay, Brian.
Right?
I
Yeah.
have an idea, and I want to run it by you, but we won't do it on the show tonight.
Cool.
All right, so everybody, thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, Saquon Barkley jersey or $100 straight to you. We need 100 subscribers on YouTube. We need 500 followers on Facebook, and we need 2,000 followers on Twitter. We will random it out, and then somebody's going to get $100 or a Saquon Barkley jersey, their choice. All right. And then next week, do not forget the $25 gift card to Mr. B's if I can stump Big Bry on trivia. All right.
and you
Cool.
get it right.
And you get it right. Yeah. We had a lot of people that were close. And I have one guy actually message me. He goes, I forgot it was 2002, not 2001. I'm like, what's your answer now? He goes, 0. I'm like,
Mhm.
you feel better now? He goes, tore me up for 2 days. So that makes a good one. All right, gentlemen, we're here at the end of the show. Vinny, you want to tell them good night?
Hey, have a great night, everybody.
All right, Big Bri, God bless him.
Yeah, God bless you. God bless America.
All right, I am that fat guy. I want to thank everybody for watching. I apologize. We kind of ran through Fat Boy Tuesday. Daddy's head is still throbbing like a mother. Certain words I can't use right now. We'll do PG 13. All right, but thank you guys so much for watching. We love our troops. We love our first responders. You know, can't thank them enough for what they do. We say it every week. So thank you guys. And on that note, fellas, we are definitely uncorked, unloaded, and we're out. See ya.
Sweet.
Some